Hey guys, Subconsci here, bringing you the legend ranking list for 2021, July to early December on JP server. Man, it feels like it was only yesterday that I got shafted on King and Queen's debut banner, and with a blink of an eye, now I'm sitting here with 20 to 30 new legends waiting to be evaluated on my tier list. I admit I procrastinated and now I'm paying the price. I could hardly keep up with the new legend releasing schedule. Guys, valuable lesson. I think the main takeaway from my story is try not to get shafted. Before I dive into the legend evaluation section, I wanted to make a special discussion about a concept and the current game environment, a concept of on-paper value versus perceived value. Imagine we have a legend with these attributes. This is what it will look like if we translate these numbers into a radar chart. Based on different combination of attributes, we will get diverse charts. The chart for a legend with high offense ability should look something like this. And the chart for a legend with high utility functions should look similar to this one. Now, let's also imagine there's certain criteria a legend needs to meet in order to clear an average content. When the charted area on the left is able to completely overlay that on the right, the legend should clear the content fairly easily. The greater the coverage, the stronger the legend is shown on paper. Normally, as time progresses, the chart on the right should grow proportionally to that on the left. However, the current situation is the content criteria, or I should say the content difficulty, stagnates while the legend ability chart keeps expanding. In other words, the new legends get stronger and stronger, but the content difficulty stays the same. In the last 2 years or so, we've got constant grinding events like Treasure Map, Kizuna, and Blitz battles back to back, non-stop, and only got one arena per month. Arena is short content composed of 5 stages, and it usually comes with an obvious pattern. On stage 1 and 2 is where we stall and prepare for special CD, VS effect, or super sweet charger. On stage 3 is where we usually deal with some debuff appetizer. On stage 4 is where we need heavy debuff removers and some offense boosters. On stage 5, the final boss stage, is where we need to handle additional debuffs and create the final attack blast. With this pattern, the importance of defense ability is almost neglected, and maintaining constant high firepower is not as crucial as it used to be in longer content like training forests or guard challenges. In these Star 13 adventures, the ability to provide constant firepower and defense often determines whether a team can clear content or not. This one arena per month schedule ironically allows utility legends to cover more variety of charts than offense legends do as the content difficulty stagnates. As a result, utility legends, for example, Sanji and Pudding or V2 Marco, tend to show more value on paper in my previous videos, while in reality, offense legends can usually rely on great utility rare recruit or support units to remove those debuffs applied on arena stage 3 to 5. When debuffs are out of the equation, offense legends destroy content much easily and in turn give us higher perceived value. So sometimes my favorite legends are not necessarily ranked higher than those less favorable ones. To adapt to current game environment and present a tier list that reflects much balanced results between on paper and perceived value, I've made some adjustments to the weight multipliers, mainly on utility column. I've also added new rating systems for each listed legend. This new system is more subjective oriented. It touches on the 4 following aspects: pleasantness, and entertainment value. This reflects how joyful or pleasant it is to run with this legend. Second aspect, easy to use value. How easy it is to use and discover the full potential of this legend. The third aspect, reroll value. This rating explores how worthy it is to reroll for a certain legend. Please note that it disregards the dropping rates or the frequency of them featuring on a banner. Bandai controls that, not us. The fourth aspect, uniqueness. As the name suggests, it evaluates how unique the legend is. The more unique a legend, the harder it is to find replacement for. I will see how it goes and modify the list after December global and JP sync-up schedule. Another topic I want to briefly touch on is the last tap mechanic. People ask me what I think about last tap mechanic 6 months after its implementation. My opinion is that we still don't know its true value yet. As I mentioned earlier, the content difficulty stagnates. The OP legends we've been getting already dominate all existing content. We barely need last tap ability for any island, but it doesn't mean it's useless. It somehow reminds me of Luffy and Law's barrier penetration switch ability. It was only until God Challenge 6 arrived that we realized the importance of their switch abilities. So Bandai can always drop a new sick island or game mode and change our impression about last tap in a heartbeat. Let's hope Bandai does that after New Year. At least this is what I'm looking for. Before we move on to the summary section for the new arriving legends, I have to first point out that there are simply too many legends released since my last video. I will only select those most impactful ones to talk about, and as always, I will narrow the list down to the top 35 legends so that the video won't get too lengthy. Unfortunately, this means that plenty of new legends like Legend Kuma, V2 Kizaru, or Halloween Koala, along with other powerful old legends, are absent in this video. Please consider all of them honorable mentions. Now, let's start with Legend King and Queen. King and Queen are the best speedrun legends in the game, period. In a perfect setup, King and Queen are like nuclear bombs that trigger a lethal chain reaction, setting off a train of destruction across multiple stages. It is very satisfying to run their teams, especially when they are meticulously built. And because every special skill used on King and Queen's team could end up affecting or intertwining with another, extra thoughts need to be put into team building. Bind and Despair debuffs could also really mess their teams up. So if you are trying to pioneer and clear a brand new island, they are probably not your best choices. But if you are circling back to the island you already cleared and in search of a faster team, look no further than King and Queen. Next up, Legend Toki. Legend Toki is like the wild draw 4 card in a Uno card game. Its existence has fundamentally changed traditional team building. It is a miracle unit that has decisive influence in the game and is impossible to find replacement for. Utility-wise, it is the only unit that can preemptively guard against enemies' debuffs. Offense-wise, it is capable of generating insane firepower equivalent to 2 mini V2 Blackbeard. The value and potential of Legend Toki is only limited by our imagination. For now, it is probably my favorite legend in the game. Next up, Legend Vivi. I believe Vivi is low-key one of the most valuable units in the game. The tricks she can accomplish are far more impressive than many players realized. First of all, her orb management ability is S+ tier, and it even comes with an orb lock effect. Vivi's orb boost is set at relatively low 2.25 times range. but her Orb Boost upgrade and extension ability is where the real magic lies. It means that her special can not only be used to take care of mini-bosses, it could also stack with an existing high-end Orb Boost and extend the effect across multiple stages or turns for the endgame content. So even if we move on to higher multiplier meta in the future, Vivi can always be reliable and relevant. Vivi also possesses top-tier super typing, like V2 Snake Man or Reiju. It offers so much advantages and flexibility, especially when we are under special limit debuff condition. Speaking of Legend Reiju, she is also phenomenal. It's just that the majority of the enemies all have immunity, and only a small handful of them apply poison debuff. In addition, unlike Vivi, Reiju is really stuck in 2.25 times multiplier realm and might struggle in endgame content in the future. Next up, Legend Perona. I've always wanted a conditional booster that can bypass enemies' immunity, so this new Legend Perona to me is like a dream comes true. Also, I love OPTC units that accurately depicts their original characteristics from One Piece universe. Perona being the first surefire conditional booster really makes sense to me. It's a great adaptation from the source material. When enemy is under negative condition, Perona can reach 2.5 times Captain Multiplier, which is very impressive. But outside of negative condition, she only gets mediocre 4 times multiplier. For now, the majority of the content is easy and short, so we might not feel her weakness. Once we start to get new adventures with more than 10 stages, it will become difficult for Perona teams to maintain stable firepower. In my humble opinion, Perona is mostly designed for endgame players and helps to take things to the next level. New players might not enjoy her teams as much as veterans do, but overall she is a wonderful unit, probably my top 5 favorite legends in 2021. Now, let's talk about Super Class. Personally, I prefer Super Class over Super Color, since Super Class buff base attack stats regardless of color affinity. That's why I assign a slightly higher weight multiplier for Super Class column. My honest opinion about the first 2 Super Class legends, Dofi and Katakuri, is that they both appear to be lacking in some way. Don't get me wrong, they are both powerful. It's just that they seem to be designed for specific circumstances instead of general environment. Take Dofi for example. Under special limit debuff condition is when his value would really explode. Is he single-handedly takes care of special silence, special rewind, orb management, plus both attack and orb enhancement. Katakuri is built to endure longer content. The ability to switch between attack and orb boost also enables him to adapt longer adventures better. As I previously stated, this tier list is adjusted to adapt current 1 arena per month schedule. His value might be slightly underestimated on this tier list. Next up, Super Class Crocodile. V2 Crocodile is apparently my favorite out of the 3 Super Class legends. The concept of playing around with team HP in order to attain different utility is amusing to me. He also comes with a new special counter mechanic that provides extra layer of flexibility. Any interesting and strategic design is a good design in my eyes. There are 3 major abilities that highlight Crocodile's value. First one being his matching orb Captain utility. The second one is his survival defense ability. The third one is his super chainlock boost that could even last across stages. Overall, Crocodile is a robust legend who will make you crave more for harder content in order to find out its full potential. Last but not least, Yamato. Personally, I think Yamato lives up to the hype. Her last tap ability is simply mind-blowing, In my humble opinion, out of the 4 last tap legends, she deserves the last tap tablets the most. I do need to point out some minor drawbacks though. Unlike Luffy, Kid, or Law, their last tap can be activated every turn on final boss stage, as long as their respective condition is met. Whereas the access to Yamato's last tap is almost always one time only. If we run double Yamato team and use our own captain special on final stage, we cannot choose to last tap with friend captain, vice versa. The one who activates the special is the one who gets to use last tap ability. This may not seem to be a huge deal, but the nuance could play out to be significant, especially when we plan to activate her support effect at a specific moment. Also, Yamato's special is an HP cutter. It means if Bandai really wants to be naughty, they can make the final boss interrupts HP cut special, and Yamato's value will suddenly plummet. Yamato's special is also greatly inhibited by enemies' immunity protection, which, let's be honest, is omnipresent nowadays. I know the majority of us all love Legend Yamato. These are just some minor drawbacks I have to lay out and acknowledge first before praising her. Overall, Yamato is just extraordinary. Running her teams is such a pleasant experience. Essentially, we are looking at a goddess of destruction with a dominant multiplier. Wa Orb system further intensify her supremacy. The amount of damage she is capable of creating is out of this world. In my humble opinion, her built-in anti-bind ability is the second best captain utility in the game, the best being anti-despair. Again, she being able to remove bind is another great adaptation from source material. Personally, I prefer Int Yamato over her super evolution, mostly because of ulti and page 1, plus other OP-driven class subs. But 6+ Yamato can get similar subs, if not more powerful ones in the future too. In a tier list like this, we really want to only focus on the value of the unit itself. The truth is, Int Yamato depends on Wa Orbs much heavily than her 6+. It's easy to maintain Wa Orbs in short content like Arena, but it's a different story when the island consists of more than 7 stages. Hawkins Forest is an exception, as we could take advantage of the Super Orb Lock debuff. Int Yamato also needs some HP management to optimize her chain boost, as well as the additional damage reduction effects. I won't spoil the ranking result here, as you guys are just about to find out the final verdict. As always, I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please smash the like button, subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell. I know this tier list update is way long overdue, so thank you for your patience. But please understand that making tier list video like this is really time consuming. It's a huge sacrifice of my leisure time. So if you'd like to support my work, please consider joining my YouTube membership or my Ko-fi one-time donation page. I will leave the links in the pinned comment. Until next time, bye bye.